So this stitch that we're going to do next is actually a welted stitch, and this is used on gloves, it's used on moccasins, anywhere where you have a seam and you don't want to have your stitches, this is the wrong side, you don't want to have your stitches showing. So this is what it'll look from the other side before it's trimmed. Usually what we do is we put a piece of hide between the fabric or hide between two other pieces of leather, and it'll actually suck in the stitches so that they won't be seen. It'll protect them and give them a little bit of extra strength. So when you're doing this, of course we have the right sides of fabric facing each other. We put the hide in between. Anytime you're doing a seam stitch, you want to have a knot in the thread. Okay? Now, when we do this stitch, the overhand with the welt, we always use a double thread, knotted. We start at one edge, go through all thicknesses. Now you want to pull it nice and tight. The tighter the better, actually. You go over your work. Take another stitch. You want to keep your stitches fairly close, about 1/8 of an inch. In there is really good for a nice tight stitch. You want to keep about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. That's a good stitch. It takes practice again. A lot of times people will start off with 1/4 inch. Once you get practicing it, it's way better. You don't want to bulk up your seam too much, because once you do, what happens is we have to flatten the seam in order to get the welt to lay right when we turn it right side out. So if you have too much seam allowance in here, it's going to create a little bubble and it's not going to be as nice looking. And when you look at the finished project, there's going to be lots of ripples and everything. So you would work straight across, remembering pull your stitches tight. The tighter the better. And then when you flip it out, it'll be like so. So you want to make sure that you turn around, check your stitches. If they're not pulled tightly, what's going to happen, I'll loosen this up a bit, you're going to see those stitches. So you'll see those. We don't want to see those. So make sure that you pull it very, very tightly. So when you're done, you're not going to see them. Right? So this one is a little bit further apart, but you can see double. Make sure you tie a knot in the end, and then once it's done, we'll cut off this welt and even. Usually what I do is I lay the scissors even with the fabric and then just cut straight across.